We are all familiar to balance. For all of this, we strive for it. Balanced diets, balanced relationships, a balanced mental state, or perhaps just being able to balance on one foot. But balance isn't about struggling to stand up straight. It's about the compromise of two forces. I'm sure there was a point in all our lives where we felt we had that balance. We felt safe. We felt fulfilled. But it's all been stripped from us. This apocalypse, it's taken everything from us. Our friends, our parents, siblings, sons and daughters. Everything we ever loved, we ever cared for, gone. The God I used to worship failed us, and in his absence, a new one had to arise. Belos and Xernos are one being, split to create the balance of life. Belos, the god of light, Xernos, the god of darkness. We cannot live without one or the other, and it's difficult to please both. Yet we must strive for a balance between the two. Never too much light, never too much darkness. Hence, why they created the infection, to reset the balance, to start over. The infected are servants of Xernos, of the darkness, here to ensure that the light never oversteps its limits. And without light, there cannot be darkness, and without darkness, there cannot be light. I'm not saying that we should treat these infected as we would our neighbour, as we would our friends or our families, but that you understand their necessary existence and remind yourself the power Xernos holds over all of us. I'd like to tell you my story of enlightenment, how the very words I'm speaking to you now were first birthed into my lips. I went up north with Rico here and Opal. It was after visiting the collective we spent the night in a small shrine. It was in the early hours of the morning. I was woken by a vision. I felt their breath move through me, through my eyes, through my soul, and through my mind. There was a bright light, and beside it a deep darkness. It whispered, but it did not say a word. In this whisper, not a shout, it told me their name. The light and the darkness, Belos and Xernos. It told me why I was here. And I understood it. It was like everything finally made sense. Like my eyes had been opened. But it wasn't until the following day that my faith was formed in them. Me and Rico, we heard a bear in the woods. We heard its growling. We felt its presence. It was in the trees opposite to the shrine. And our curiosity got the better of us and we went to have a closer look. I realised now it was curiosity, but Belos and Xernos guided me to the event of my enlightenment. Their whispers were louder than the growling of the bear. But that did not stop it from charging at me. And that's what it did. It charged. I closed my eyes and awaited the fury of the bear when I was shielded by Belos. The bear attacked me. It knocked me out. It did not leave a scratch, not one cut, not one ounce of pain. Nothing but the protection of Belos. The bear, so fearful, it fled. And it was there that I realised I had been saved by divine intervention. I had been rescued from my blindness. Enrico here can confirm that. Now, our curiosity might just be madness. Madness that's in all of us. Madness that's rooted deep inside all of us. It calls out. It begs to be let out. And sooner or later we all have to oblige. That madness is Xernos. The gift that he has bestowed upon all of us. So do not fear it. Do not hesitate but embrace it. Allow it to come out. Do not be ashamed of your sins, but understand they are necessary to being part of restoring balance. Same as your good deeds. So I'm going to ask if any one of you have done something that you're ashamed of, something bad. Maybe you feel no shame of what you did and you want to admit that. But now is your chance to stand up and share, embrace it, and allow the light of Belos to guide you through the darkness of Xernos. If any one of you has something to share, I'll give you a minute here to think on it and raise your hand if you'd like to share. Yeah. Do not be shy or afraid. There's no judging. Yes.
Yes, sir. I would like to share, if that's all right.
Yeah, please do. Come step into the center.
Feels like I am in one of those AA meetings. You know about those, Mr. Jason. But anywho, yes, there are things in life, as Mr. Rev has said, that I think all of us are not necessarily proud of. There are things that we have done that perhaps in the other world we used to live in may not be as kosher, I guess you'd say. And prior to my arrival here, I had lost someone very dear to me, very loving to me, someone that I did not think that would ever love me. And the day she was taken away from me, I did things that a normal man should never have to do or never should want to do, but I wanted to do it. I killed men that were responsible for her death in a way that I am sometimes ashamed of, but also proud that I have done. Because in a place like this, those things are invaluable. Those men deserve what happened to them. They had to learn the lesson that that Mr. Rev here was also trying to speak to, the balance that that our world is teetering on. I cannot say that I have shared any light with one until I have arrived here and opened up pub, but I'm hoping to get that balance back and have a little light in my life and share it with you, with all you folks. My friend that died here, he believed in the same thing that Mr. Reb believes in, the balance. And I think that is the only way to find peace within yourself. That is me. Appreciate it. Walter Gibbons. Thank you.
I robbed a small child for cereal when I was starving at gunpoint. And I am always dreaming of that child's face and the disappointment when I ripped his box of Captain Crunch from his cold hands.
Thank you for sharing. What happened was, it's not something to be ashamed of. It was an opportunity given to you. Not just for the cereal, but an opportunity to be taken by the darkness given to you by Xernos. So that you could understand his power. How his power can make you do even the worst of things. And how his power is necessary. You may not have survived if you hadn't done it. Xernos saved you. I used to be a reverend to the old god. To the one true god of old. I was preaching a sermon in a church like this. I had my daughter there. I had my friends there, my family. It wasn't until halfway through that a group of men smashed down the doors, shot, slaughtered, killed, murdered, tortured everyone. It wasn't until it was my turn that my daughter, she tried to interfere. These men, they took her, pulled her, grabbed her, threw her into the fire, held her face into the flames, and forced me to watch her burn slowly in front of my eyes. It was just nothing but a pile of ashes. It was the old God who allowed this to happen. It was this God who failed all of us. We have to adapt to this new world, to the new God. The same way we've adapted our morals, doing things we wouldn't have once done, robbing, killing, doing whatever we need to survive, or simply to pass the time. All the things you've admitted to today, you probably wouldn't have done before. And that's because Belos and Xernos, they've given us the strength that the old God took from us. We wouldn't be here without them. If any of you thought about what you had to share, then you've got another chance here to do. So thank you all for attending tonight. May Xernos cast darkness over you and may Belos light you through it. But before you go, I have one last thing to say. I'm sure most of you have heard of the recent killings in Haven. Maybe some of you were even present, or you knew the people killed. Well, I'm sure none of us are strangers to death, but a close friend of mine died that day, as well as a few other people, and in a minute I'd like us to have a minute of silence for them. One of the people who died was Kai, the leader of my faction. His death left a hole in not only my organisation, but in each and every one of us who wears this black armband on our arm. We are not servants to the past, but to the future. And I know he wouldn't want us to stray from our goal. The Void's not going anywhere. We're still here. And our course serves hand in hand to Belos and Xernos, restoring balance and maintaining balance, and creating it. The Void is here to do God's work. Now, I'd like us to all have a moment of silence, not just for them, but for everyone you've lost, for everyone you've killed yourselves, everyone you've hurt, tormented, tortured. And I'd like you to think about what we spoke about today, about Belos and Xernos. Perhaps you're not ready to welcome them into your heart, into your mind, but they're already there. You don't need to. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you all for coming today. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, that sums us up.